Once I dreamt we were dear to each other. I woke to find that we were strangers. This absolutely devastating quote is a complete flip of a quote from Rabindranath Tagore, which reads, "Once we dreamt that we were strangers. We wake up to find that we were dear to each other." This is just one of the many masterpieces that Kuro Games has woven into Phrolova's story. And in this video, I'm going to ask the question, is Phrolova the best written character in Gacha history?
Come dance with me in a rosy haze.
Now, what do I mean by best written? Not just the character itself, in my opinion. I also mean their relationships with other characters and any sort of development as a whole. So let me start off with the story of Phrolova. She was once a simple girl that loved her music, but her mother did not like that. But alas, she had supportive people along the way, such as Leia and Triss, along with others. And on one unfortunate day, a meteor strike destroyed her entire town, along with everybody with it apart from her. The people that she held so close, and the mother that she couldn't say sorry to. This experience awoke her forte, and thus began her quest to try and get her loved ones back. On one tour, where she'd play the violin in front of an audience, she met Rover, the Rover of the past, who made a promise to be there for her next performance, after she admitted that she didn't quite get it right. A Rover that said that they will always follow through with their promises, no matter what. However, time passed, and even more time passed, and the Rover was nowhere to be seen, and thus she was caught in the grasp of the Fractidus. A member showed her what could be an unstable illusion of one of her loved ones, captivated her, and made her join the Fractidus. After turning to science, she found no way of getting back her loved ones. Hoping the Fractidus might help, she created a Sonoro with her forte that contained her loved ones and her village. But there was one thing missing from that Sonorosphere, and that was the power of the gem that the Rover, current Rover, was after. After cooperating with the Rover and having some close experiences, they eventually end up defeating Fenrico and reclaiming the gem for themselves. And this is where it all went wrong. Two unstoppable forces, too stubborn to hear the other out, ultimately resulted in Phrolova losing her life, and Rover losing the gem to Cristoforo. But not exactly. Phrolova didn't exactly lose her life. Because the Sonorosphere was tied to her forte, she ended up merging with it when she was killed by Rover. So she is alive, but only in the Sonorosphere. Throughout the 2.5 quest, we've seen her try and teeter on the edge of death to see if she could try and get into the Sonorosphere. But it looks like Rover finished the job and sent her there anyways. So, I want to talk about why this is so important. Why is this so powerful? For the first time, I think, in Gacha history, at least in mainstream Gacha history, we have had a flawed main character. The reaction online supports this. Half of the people support Rover, half of the people support Phrolova, because Rover had their own reasons. Phrolova, in his eyes, was a villain that wanted to turn the essence of humans into tacit discords to try and keep them alive, while Phrolova just wanted to keep her loved ones from dying, all while the person she tried to wait for never showed up. Like I said, two unstoppable forces, too stubborn to see each other's side. It is the sheer fact that Phrolova died believing in what she did. She took it to the grave. People were expecting a redemption arc for Phrolova, but that never came. She died a villain. A misunderstood villain, I must say, but a villain nonetheless. Another thing that Kuro have done, they've woven in ambiguity into this story. Who do you actually side with? Because they both have valid points, and you want to support them both. You want them to make up and achieve both their goals, but for once, you don't get what you want. You see the cost of stubbornness. You see the outcome. of the dark side of ambition. The best written character in Gacha history is a huge title. However, I believe she is at least up there as one of the best. Because in modern day gachas, the redemption of villains is all too common. No deaths, all too common. There are no stakes to stories. There are no consequences for choosing a side. But 2.5 breaks the mold completely. Because I'm sure none of us expected to go into this patch and come out feeling the way we did. None of us expected for her to die. But do I think that that is the perfect way to write off a character? Absolutely. Phrolova has been there since 1.0. She has been ever present since the game's launch. And we viewed her as a villain up until this patch. She was completely misunderstood. Now, I also mentioned character dynamics earlier on, and this is mainly with Rover when they were cooperating. They built a very fragile trust. She was weak, she needed him to complete her goal, but he also needed her to complete his goal. It was a mutual agreement to help each other, but as soon as their goals split, that was it. And you may think at the beginning of the story, oh no, that's not going to happen, they're going to find common ground. No. That is where Kuro Games cooked. There was no common ground. Right until the very end of the story, they had their own goals. Right until the very end of Phrolova's life, she had her own goals. And they never, ever fully aligned with Rover's. Which is superb writing. Superb. Now, for the whole alive or dead situation, the reason why it's ambiguous is simply because she needs to be a playable character. For lore reasons, you cannot have a playable dead character. It's as simple as that, really. If they want to keep the continuity where you can convene resonators, then they need to be quote-unquote alive. Now, is Phrolova dead? 99.9% yes. But of course, the fact that you can convene her is hinged on the 0.01%. Can I also just mention, completely sort of off the rails, how 2.4 just delivered this grandiose story, and then 2.5 sweeps us off our feet completely differently, making us wake up in the morning questioning our lives, giving us tears, choking us up when we play the quest. I think that in itself just proves how good the writing is, along with the execution and the visuals, etc. But the foundation of a good story is its writing, and they knocked it out of the park. Now, another few tidbits before I go that I just have to mention. Again, this is off topic. The first bit I wanted to mention was in the final cinematic, when she picks up the violin, her lips start to quiver. Honestly, I'm not too emotional, but that shit got me. I don't know why. Her lips started to quiver and then she shed a single tear. I don't know why. I guess it's a feeling of sorrow because she feels like she failed. She didn't bring her loved ones back, which is why she said I'm sorry in that exact same scene. But the quivering lips, for some reason, they got me. They got me so hard. And the music as well. The music of The Lost Beyond. Oh my god, that destroyed me as well. It's probably played somewhere in this video to get the emotions going again, but Jesus Christ, man, honestly, Kuro need to stop with these sorrowful patches because it's destroying us. A filler patch turned into a feeler patch. Now, I want to hear from you guys. Do you guys think that Phrolova is the best? Do you guys think that Phrolova is the best written character in Gacha history? Is she one of the best? Or is she not? Let me know what you guys think in the comments, if you can stop crying for just 2 minutes. Wipe those tears and give me a comment. It'd be very much appreciated to know your opinion. Obviously, I got a bunch of your guys' opinions in the previous video. They were very good to read because it's good to know that I can resonate with a lot of you guys when it came to my feelings about the story as a whole. But yes, thank you all so much for tuning into this video, and I will see you on the next one. Goodbye for now. I'm gonna go cry now.